Welcome to MotoMouths, the podcast for MotoGP, motorsports, and more. I'm your host, Zoe, and I'm so excited.
I'm your other host, also named Zoe, and why are we excited today?
Today, we have our very first guest, excluding Gertie, my dog, of the podcast, our first human guest, Renita Vermeulen, who is an incredible motorsport and MotoGP content creator and journalist, and we will be interviewing her towards the end of the pod. I'm really excited.
I am so excited. I think this is going to be really fun. I love the distinction of first human guest. I think that's so just like a vibe.
It's important.
You know what? We should clarify.
I don't want to discredit Gertie's hard work.
And we're unbelievably excited to have Renita on the pod.
I'm so excited. But before that, I think we should get into the quick hits of a off week.
It's been like 2 off weeks, or maybe it's been 1 off week that's felt like an off month. Do you kind of feel that way?
It's been quiet.
It's been ominously quiet.
Yeah.
I feel like the last MotoGP race and the last F1 race have been so doggone awful in a variety of ways. And then sitting in that feeling for as long as we have has been like unfun.
Yeah, it's like when you're holding like a really bad yoga pose and you're supposed to be breathing, but all you can think about is how miserable you are.
That's exactly what it's like. Or the oblique section in solid core. That one gets me. It doesn't even hurt good. It just sucks. Anyways, let's talk about the news, I guess. The biggest story out of MotoGP right now, as it has been for quite a long time this year, is Marc Marquez.
He is the name on everybody's lips.
In his bionic arm.
Yeah, so remember when we said he didn't have to have surgery?
Yeah, so he did have surgery. He had surgery about 2 days ago. Anyways, forget all of that.
Yeah, ignore what we said all of last pod.
And here's the thing. I think this is a great time to remind everybody that Mark is a liar.
Exactly. I'm so glad you brought this up. He is a liar who loves to lie.
Loves lying. I will say, though, like, this is one of those moments where I don't think they went into it being like, let's not tell them about the surgery.
No, of course not. Yeah.
But like, I feel like if you are engaging with Mark as a fan or even a viewer, you need to understand that like what he says publicly, there's a really even 50-50 chance of it's true. Not even because of his choices, but because of the way the universe like bends around him.
Right. Like the arc of the universe bends towards untruthfulness when it comes to him and how he moves through the world.
Exactly. You're in my brain right now.
What's so wild is that, like, this is the first time I think I've seen him in, like, a proper cast.
So what's really funny is the off-season before he went to Gresini, he just kind of out of nowhere was like, hey, guys, I got arm pump surgery. We're all like, okay. I haven't really seen him injured like this. I think the most injured I've seen him has been after Sachsenring last year when he broke a couple of bones in his hand. But yeah, this one's rough. We talked about it last week when it first happened, but it's scary. I think there's a lot of fear mongering that comes around Mark in general because he makes it really easy because of his fucked up arm and also body and relationship with pain and injury, which is a whole other story. I'm choosing to be really positive. We've known already that he was not going to be coming back for any of the flyaways. We knew that. We knew that we were looking at somewhere from like a 5 to 6 week recovery timeline. It's looking like it'll now be 5 to 6 weeks from now, maybe. And they were going for a really conservative approach initially, like when they first took all those tests and did all that monitoring. And they were hoping that having his arm completely immobilized would, I guess, like cut down on inflammation, let things start to heal a little bit, like the ligaments. That didn't happen. And so they immediately went in for surgery, which to me, I am not a medical doctor. I don't know anything about medicine. But to me, that does tell me that they're like, actively thinking about the best way to solve this and taking steps in a way that's like, all right, with the information we have now, let's do the best possible thing.
The other thing is eventually along the way of injuries and sports injuries in particular, you just kind of come to the knowledge that ligaments don't heal on their own. They just don't.
Also, like the older you get, things don't heal, right?
Right. And he's ancient.
As we have discussed, he is decrepit.
He is an elderly senior citizen man.
At this point, he should be dust on the earth.
Yeah.
by the sheer grace of God and his inability to let go of anything, he is still standing.
The reason they made a new MotoGP trophy is because the last one is going to be his urn.
I was thinking it was like the picture of Dorian Gray kind of shit.
Oh, that's such a good point. That's also entirely possible.
Listen, we could both be right.
Exactly.
Just some quick news on like the next steps. Ducati and their infinite stupidity, in my opinion, and reliance on vagueness have said that Michele Pirro, who is their very loyal test rider and development rider, is subbing in for Mark for Phillip Island, but they didn't clarify if he would do that for much longer. They've said nothing about who's subbing in after that.
Right. Okay. Sure. But also, like, they could take the season off.
They've won both titles.
Exactly. Like, except for Pecco. I mean, like, what else is there to do? And Lord knows he's not going anywhere.
No, Lord knows he's not doing anything. I think the thing that is, quote unquote, most concerning, if we're looking at Ducati's 2026 like campaign, is that they want, I think if I were in their position with Mark, I would be testing stuff now. Because clearly Pecco is not in a place to actually make substantive edits or direction on the 26 bike.
He is going backwards.
Right. Like, that's not a guy you want giving direction right now. I think that is the big concern, but also I'm not wildly concerned about it because you do have the whole postseason and preseason testing. From now to the end of the season is a bonus anyways, if Mark were to test things now.
And also, who's to say that his testing is going to be any help because he's fucking insane?
Exactly. So many teams have come out and riders have said that his data is hard. It's similar to Max, where it's like sometimes the data can't really account for what they're doing. So how helpful is it going to be to everybody else?
They are outliers and should not have been counted.
Spider's George.
Spider's Mark.
Spider's Mark. Ant Mark. Ant Hill Mark. So yeah, I don't know. That's the other thing is like Pirro is their test rider. So why not just lock him in for 2 weekends and just like sacrifice him to a test like session one after the other for 2 weekends in a row?
He's not doing anything better.
Right. Classic Ducati. Since we're talking about Phillip Island, should we do our little predictions?
Yeah, so this is crazy because I think for the first time all year, we can't predict Mark.
Right. I mean, yes. Correct. So something also kind of funny is last year, I think the front row of Phillip Island was Jorge Martin, I think it was Mark, and I think it was Maverick. What do those three people have in common right now?
Injured.
Correct. None of them are racing this weekend.
Broken.
Broke physically.
In the fish pod.
And we talked about it last week, but like Phillip Island is really weird. Phillip Island is very cold because the way Australia, like I believe their like Department of Sport, the way they have it figured out is that Phillip Island is exactly 6 months before or after, depending on how you look at it, Melbourne, because they don't want to cannibalize those markets. So you get this like weird period of time where during the flyaways, it's really, really hot in places like Indonesia, Japan, Malaysia, and then you get to Phillip Island and it's fucking cold.
Get your parkas and your penguins out, folks.
They all get so bundled up in Phillip Island. It's very funny.
The Michelin Man will be there in more ways than one.
Exactly. Predictions are going to be so weird. Also, because Pecco can't do shit right now.
As per usual. Wasn't going to include him regardless.
And Marco Bezzecchi has what I'm referring to as Schrodinger's penalty. Because we don't know what it is.
He is neither penalized nor not penalized.
Right. We're in a state of limbo with that. We can assume it's probably going to be something substantial, but we don't know.
All right, well, I can go first.
Please do.
I'm going to say Alex Marquez P1.
Why not?
Just going to go wild and crazy guys over here. P2, Jack Miller. Why not?
Hometown.
P3, Johan Zarco. Can't forget about him.
Right.
Fail King, Pecco Bagnaia.
Okay, so we got some safe choices. We got some unsafe choices. Kind of an even split. Okay, so I'm going to go with a Pedro Acosta win, P1. Because I think the rage of
Furman winning.
Right, I think that's going to propel him.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I'm going to go with a Furman Aldier P2.
Whoa, beef on the podium.
Right. You know I love beef on the podium. Hamburger helper me up.
Okay.
And then P3, I'm going to go for a Marco Bezzecchi P3. And I think what's going to happen is he is either going to get 2 long laps, I think it is more likely that he will get some grid drop penalties and then he'll just like shoot back up there.
Yeah, zoom in.
Right. And so I think he's going to be very, very grateful and work really hard for a P3. Fail King, Joe Mir. I think that's where I'm at.
Fair enough.
I added in a new section.
What's this?
This is a section that is very unmysteriously named Rumors.
The album?
Exactly.
Great.
You know I love Fleetwood Mac. You know I love toxic, like back and forth, peers. Anyways.
The best mashup on Glee.
Right. Honestly, yes.
I know. I said what I said.
So there's 2 we want to discuss today. The first is rumors have been circulating in the last week or so about the end of the factory team model in MotoGP.
Yes. Which, look, I think that Liberty is taking aim at the 2 biggest barriers of general knowledge entry into the sport. Whether or not this is a good or bad thing, if I had to pick one over the other, I would take aim at factory teams over championships because I think it is a lot more difficult to wrap your head around the factory team, satellite team system than it is to say, oh, we give equal weight to the championships won in other categories.
May I respond?
Please do.
I feel like we're in a debate team.
Counterpoint. Your rebuttal, please.
Okay. Point 1. I see what you mean when it comes from like a place of understanding and kind of the education of the sport. I think that there are structural elements of the factory satellite model that are vastly more important to the like continued future of MotoGP than the championship piece. And you know how I feel about the championship piece. I think it's a very important aspect of the sport. MotoGP, we've talked about this, will not anytime soon reach the level of like financial stability that F1 has. Even on a lower scale, it is so much more expensive to race in MotoGP than it is in F1. Comparatively. Like, it's much harder to secure funds.
Right. Okay.
That's what I mean. MotoGP will not survive if every team has to bring their own bikes. Gresini does not have the money to go and manufacture their own bike, manufacture parts, test them, staff, salary, an entire factory somewhere, and also staff a racing team. Functionally, They are not capable of doing that. And that's why the factory satellite model exists.
And if Liberty and Dorna were smart about it, which I don't think they are, it would be a happy medium. I think that there is a way to more rigidly define the team system and the existing customer factory satellite relationship while still, to their point, allowing investors to come in to purchase stakes in teams that are not beholden to the other investors or financial models or advertisers of their factory teams. And I think there's a lot of money to be made in investing in MotoGP teams. You just got to be smart about it.
That's the thing. It's like investing, it has to build on itself. And
100%.
Like, you need to build that foundation of a sport and an audience that is dedicated for investors to come in and look at it and be like, this is a product I feel comfortable just throwing money at for the next couple of years.
Right.
One of my points where you look at, I think, let's look at it. Alpine, obviously Ferrari, Mercedes, Haas, Aston Martin, McLaren. I'm going to make the argument Red Bull with Honda and soon to be Ford. These are all companies and teams that are very intimately associated with car manufacturing. Gresini isn't that. Gresini is a racing team founded by a previous racer who wanted to start a team. To allow them to exist, they need to be tied to a manufacturer.
You'll often hear James Vowles talk about the struggles of being a team that doesn't sell a product, that is just a team.
I think on some level, people think that's going to be a great equalizer. I don't disagree, but I worry that there's too much chaos involved in that process of everybody being on the exact same playing field, that we're not going to get any sort of like legitimate storytelling of like lines of growth. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense.
And this is the other thing. MotoGP has done this before. They've done this where they've gone through this whole process of everybody has their different suppliers and everyone's really secretive about their suppliers. And like they used to know exactly which like supplier, like these teams are getting their brake pads from and where these people are getting their chains from. And like, no. And that still happens. But like, it's not an arms race in the way it used to be. It's going to balloon costs. Like, I think that is what it really comes down to. Also, such a weird ecosystem of like riders' contracts that like I'm very curious how they would want to do that. Because, for example, Fermin Aldeguer has a Ducati contract. So does Fabio Di Gianantonio.
It's very hard to untangle that web.
So it's interesting. I don't know. The other rumor is that Repsol is looking to come back into the MotoGP ecosystem.
Would they come back to Honda?
The rumor suggests right now that they're looking to start as the Moto2 and Moto3 like lubricant supplier. There's already a supplier associated with that right now. Guess what their name is?
Astroglide?
Liquimoly.
Oh, I know Liquimoly.
Right. Fine.
Astroglide would be way funnier. KY.
I mean, do they do automotive lubricants?
It's a great area to explore, and if they don't, they should.
There's a ton of white space there.
They could sponsor the OnlyFans team.
Oh my God, they should.
I mean, come on.
It's right there.
It's right there. Hire us.
Anyways, they're looking to start in 2026, the rumor suggests, with Moto2 and Moto3. But what's really interesting about it is that whoever broke the story is also saying that the deal for that Moto2, Moto3 lubricant sponsorship is most likely to be broken after a year or two so that they can get back into team sponsorships. So I think they're using it as a way in the door.
Why do they need a way in the door when they were the sponsor of Honda for about 400 years?
I don't know. And if I were to presume I understood the behavior of a company that is huge and massive, I feel like it would be a little uncomfortable for them to just like jump back into being a title sponsor of like, I don't know, like a Gresini after they had just left their relationship with Honda. Like, I think it might be professionally uncomfortable.
I don't understand Europeans, but okay.
Also, the new regs are coming in, and I think they might want to see how everything falls out.
Those damn socialists and their respectable politics.
And none of it's like confirmed yet. But that's
Rumors.
why it's in a section called Rumors.
Rumor has it we don't talk about this anymore. Well, I guess that brings us to the great wide world of motorsport.
It does.
And I think the biggest news coming out of the world of motorsport is this hullabaloo, these
shenanigans, if you will.
Can we appreciate hullabaloo?
It's good. It's a good one.
Thank you.
My favorite thing about this is like this case every single day is like shenanigans happened and then they're like, let me shenanigan, right?
Yes, it's shenanigans all the way down.
Literally. The court reporter drawings.
Crazy.
Crazy work.
The messiest people on this planet are court reporters and courtroom sketch artists.
Yes. Yes. They know what they're doing. They can see behind the veil of the world that we live in. It's crazy.
Can see your soul.
I believe it. Listen, it's Etsy witches and court sketch artists. Like those two have a power that like
unmatched.
Should never meet. I want an Etsy witch to work with a court sketch artist to be like, here's your soulmate.
So true. And Zach Brown's is just like a lump of coal. So like, I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to this whole fiasco when it first started going down, in that Alex Palou was going to jump over to Arrow McLaren in IndyCar and then said, just kidding, and didn't.
He broke his contract.
Well,
did he? I think that's the question. I mean, they're suing for $20 million.
Right. I think that Alex's argument is that he was frauded into this contract.
Right. Because Alex's whole argument, I think I saw this the other day, his argument is that this contract for IndyCar was based on an agreement that they would get him into F1 as soon as possible.
And when you don't intend to do that, you are frauding someone, which then makes a contract null and void.
Which is their argument. What's interesting about what I've read about it is that it doesn't sound like Palou's winning. But what I think is also happening is that McLaren is losing the PR game badly.
Listen, they are losing in the court of public opinion.
Exactly.
And when you are a company that large, that's kind of the only court that matters.
Right. And I think it's another, what were we talking about earlier this year where it's like company versus person?
Jorge Martin.
Right. Exactly. Where like, I feel like with Aprilia, it felt very rare to be on the side of the company. It is almost impossible for a corporation to dig themselves out of looking like the big, scary, mean bully to one little person.
But also, it is very, very, very difficult to prove that fraud may or may not have occurred.
Right. I think Alex has like every chance of winning this in the court of public opinion.
Right. I don't think the court will grant those damages to that excess. I think that's excessive, and I think the court will find that as such. I think that, unfortunately, if this was required to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, like, McLaren has deleted a lot of evidence.
No, it's the cover-up. It's not the crime. It's the cover-up.
It's the cover-up. So
what have we learned from anything in like the United States' vast history of RICO cases? It's not the crime, it's the cover-up.
That's the thing, is that I don't foresee Alex winning,
But
I
he's
also
not losing.
don't foresee McLaren winning.
Right, exactly.
What is really interesting, and we just want to touch on this really briefly because we've got so much more to talk about, is that this is now called into question whether or not Zach Brown wants Oscar Piastri as a driver, which to anybody with two eyes, I can say, was anyone confused about that ever? Because it seemed very clear to me the whole time that he doesn't like him as much as he likes Lando Norris.
I think what's interesting about this point is that we all knew that there was a favorite. We all knew that. But this is a very weird time for it to be almost confirmed that Zach Brown kind of doesn't even want Oscar there. He's leading the championship. He is most likely to win it. He is most likely to be the first McLaren title holder since Lewis Hamilton. And Zach Brown doesn't really want him there.
The other thing that's so crazy is that now you've got all these McLaren people coming out and saying, like, yeah, well, we don't really like Lando. Like, if I had my way, it would be an Oscar Daniel lineup. That'd be a great lineup.
I think what's also funny is that a lot of people are going through like tax filings and they're realizing that Zach Brown is, I think, a majority stakeholder in Quadrant.
Was the CEO. So what we knew was that he was a majority stakeholder and investor. What we didn't know is that he was actively working as the CEO until I believe Quadrant was sold to a larger stakeholder this year.
Right.
So like,
that has landed like a bomb in certain aspects of McLaren fan communities.
I'm not going to be the one being like, there can be no conflicts of interest in F1, because if that were the case, there wouldn't be F1. This is the conflict of interest sport. Toto Wolff manages like half the grid.
Lest we not forget, there is a walking, talking corpse running half of Red Bull.
Lest we not forget, a manager is driving against his employee in the championship currently.
Oh, Fernando.
And his manager is running a team after he was banned from the sport.
Right. And we could talk about this all day. We can't.
It's like,
it just keeps going.
You know, everyone says this Liberty Media acquisition is not good or blah, 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 blah. But like, if we can get this level of corruption into MotoGP, I'm going to be thoroughly entertained.
Boy, do I have a name for you, Valentino Rossi. Do you have 30 minutes to talk about our Lord and Savior, Valentino Rossi?
Ding dong. Okay, let's quickly do our COTA predictions. I think Oscar Piastri, P1. I think he's pissed. I'm going to say Max Verstappen, P2. I'm going to say Charles, P3.
Ooh, okay.
Phil King, Lando Norris.
I'm going to go with Max, P1, Oscar, P2, Lewis Hamilton, P3.
Wild, okay.
I don't know. Phil King, Carlos Sainz.
Fascinating.
So that's kind of the episode, excluding one major thing that we'll be doing next,
which is talking to the Renita Vermeulen.
Stay tuned. It's a really interesting conversation. We can't wait to share that with you guys.
Get drunk, huh?
So we're really excited to have Renita Vermeulen, who is an Australian motorsport presenter and content creator and the face of MotoGP with Fox Sports Australia. She also hosts the Pit Talk MotoGP podcast and is a familiar face to anyone who keeps an eye out on the MotoGP fan forum stages and at Hero Walks around the circuit world. And we are so excited to have her as our first guest. Hi, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to talk with you guys. I absolutely love what I've seen so far and your socials and everything. So I'm so honored to be here. So thank you so much.
We are so unbelievably excited. I was like shaking earlier a little bit.
No, oh my God, no, it's literally just me. Like if you were like, oh my God, I was shaking because I saw Marc Marquez or Fabio Quartararo, I would so get it. But girl, it's me. It's literally me. So, but no, thank you.
And trust and believe, Zoe was shaking when that happened.
Yeah. I did cry a little bit at COTA. A little bit.
A little bit.
A lot.
Zoe's a crier. We both are.
I love that.
So we wanted to kick off by letting you introduce yourself by saying, like, what is your MotoGP can't shut up moment? What is the thing you tell all new fans about?
MotoGP can't shut up moment. I mean, right now, it's hard not to be like, Marc Marquez has come back in one of the biggest sporting comebacks in everything. Like one of my colleagues at Fox Sports, he covered Michael Jordan. He's covered Venus and Serena. He's covered so many iconic moments. And he's literally like, Marc Marquez, it should be up there as one of the biggest. And I could go on about it for hours. You know, the fact that his arm was rotated 34 degrees. Like, I've never broken a bone and I'm so scared too. But the fact but the fact that they had to re-break a bone to straighten it because he couldn't open a window without like his arm, you know, being messed up, right? So that's for a new fan is like, if you want to see a GOAT in action, like someone at the absolute peak level of their sport, Marc Marquez, hands down. But I'm a little bit biased because I come from a racing background. I have to be like my brother winning in Le Mans in 2007 in the rain on a bike that wasn't necessarily considered the best bike out there, managed crazy conditions. I'm a little bit biased when it comes to that. So I'll have two. I'll have one for like the older generation who's followed it for a while. And then I'll have one for the newer generation where I'm like, yeah, look at Chris Vermeulen and then look at Marc Marquez.
No, if my brother did anything nearly as cool as that, I would also talk about it. Unfortunately, he hasn't.
Look, sometimes it's like just like the little things in life where you're like, I'm so proud of just whatever. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
It's so cool to have a Le Mans win in the wet with a bike that probably shouldn't have been where it ended up. That's such a classic for Le Mans. So I love that.
I'll give you girls like a bit of a backstory because my brother's so much older than me.
Mm-hmm.
I was in high school at the time, and being in Australia, when they race in Europe, it's literally the opposite time zone.
Mm-hmm.
So races are Sunday night. They generally start around 10 or 11 p.m. I was asleep. I was literally in bed because I had school the next morning. I didn't really watch a lot of his races live. I would watch them when I could. And I could hear my parents like getting really excited because like obviously what was happening. And I'm like, can you guys please be quiet? Like I've literally got like an exam the next day. Like I've got to get some sleep. And then my parents come in, Chris has won. Oh my God. And I'm like, look, I love that. I so do. I've got to be up in a few hours. Like let's celebrate tomorrow. Yeah. Now I look back, I'm like, I wish I saw it live and obviously wish I was there. But at the moment, you know, I was like 14, 15 years old. I'm like, I have to go to school tomorrow. Like I don't get a day off for this. So yeah, I'll catch some sleep.
Yeah, I think that's a universal experience of all younger sisters, of which we all are.
I love that Marc is one of your big moments because you are speaking my language.
You stumbled onto Zoe's favorite thing to talk about ever.
Like truly, I could talk about him for months on end. And I did just get Zoe to start the All In documentary.
Yeah. This is breaking for our listeners. I started watching the All In documentary over the weekend because I finished Dream Academy, which was wild. I don't know if you watched Dream Academy on Netflix, but it's like, oh my God, cat's eye. It's insane. And then I turned over to Marc Marquez All In and I was like, oh, this is like Zoe's told me how insane this is, but this is insane. Like when they demonstrated, what do they call it? The
Diplopia, excuse me.
Diplopia. I was like, he shouldn't be allowed out of the house. Like, that's scary. Like, oh, it's crazy. I don't know how to deal with that. And they're like, oh, he went racing again after 4 days after ruining his body. And I was like, this sport, I can't deal with it.
It's wild. And that documentary was so groundbreaking in the fact that it really gave a look to fans of what it is like for a racer. And obviously a racer who's going through so much. But we only see so much of what the riders are posting on socials or what the team show.
Uh-huh.
We don't get to see that behind the scenes of like how much they're training, what they're doing. I'm really lucky in the fact that I got to live it and I got to see. I remember my brother would come home in our Australian summer and our summers reached somewhere not crazy hot, like 34, 35 degrees in the middle of the day, with decent humidity. And he would go running at the hottest point of the day so that he could physically train his body to withstand the heat, because then they would go to their winter test in Sepang. So you're getting used to it, right? It is so many little things. We see Fabio Quartararo, who runs crazy amounts of kilometers and whatnot. And that was from Daniel Ricciardo teaching him like the training and just the ins and outs. No one gets to see it. So I like that documentary. We got to see a side of Mark that he never showed the public, but just everything else that went into it, the doctor's appointments, the mental health, the food.
Mayo Clinic.
He went to Minnesota. Like, that's like, nobody goes to Minnesota.
Yeah, but like he did whatever it took to get back to where he is now. And I think it's phenomenal. If only we could recreate that. And I think with MotoGP, with hopefully with Liberty and where they're going, if they can continue to tell those stories, and I call it the drive to survive effect, if we can have that, we can create the characters. I think it won't be long and it'll be like Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, Marc Marquez, Fabio Quartararo. They're all going to be up there with like a Venus and Serena, or maybe not so much a Travis Kelce because he has a Taylor Swift now, but like up there with those guys. Can I just like pause on that for a second? Have you girls been listening to the new Taylor Swift album?
Okay, this is a very contentious topic.
We're both diehard Swifties.
Diehard Swifties.
Okay.
I love it. Zoe does not.
Wow. Okay.
But it's okay. We're working through it.
We're working on it.
We're working on it. I love it.
My feed at the moment is literally Ophelia, like on repeat.
It is a bop. I'll give it that.
I love Opalite. I love Elizabeth Taylor. I am such a production lover. I'm a rep stan, like first and foremost. So this was like a big return to form for me. Yeah, I'm having a great time.
I'm so excited for Grissini Records to make a Life of a Show Guy cover on the socials. I'm waiting for it.
Please.
We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago because I love that they did the movies last year.
Yeah.
And then they're doing the albums this year. I think we've talked about it before. Like Grissini is doing something on social that I haven't really seen anyone in F1 do either. I think they're just having so much fun with it. Mm-hmm. And like you've said, the characters in MotoGP have been allowed to like grow and be so different and dynamic in an ecosystem that is so different to F1. The characters in MotoGP, I think, are my pitch to new fans. Like, there's no level of media training like you get in F1. Everyone is very much themselves. And I just think it's so fun. Like, that is what I wish people knew about the sport.
And that's also like kind of the whole reason we started this podcast, is because we see these stories and how much F1 fans could fall in love. And when I did a TikTok talking about Marco Bezzecchi's wooden leg,
blew up.
People loved it. They're like, why does he have a wooden leg? And we're like, well, truly, do we know? No. But he's just, you don't get that kind of like fun in F1 anymore.
Yeah.
And that's that on that. Old wounds. So you touched on it a little bit, but our first question was, what is your background with MotoGP? Like, how did you get into it? Like, what's your earliest memory with MotoGP and your brother and all of that?
So my earliest memory with MotoGP was I must have been maybe like 4, 5, 6, something really, really young. And we would watch it as a family because back then my brother was racing the Australian Superbike Championship, and he was also doing the Asian Superbike Championship, so go between here and Asia. I remember it being on TV, so I'm talking late 90s, early 2000s, and I apparently was a massive fan of a racer named Tadayuki Ohag, and I think I just really liked saying his name, but a Japanese rider back in MotoGP. So for me, it's always been on the house. Like, we had a cardboard cutout of Mick Doohan in our garage, as you do.
What else do you do?
What else do you have in your house? We had motorbikes everywhere. There was always like my brother's like racing suits like in there, the trophies, like everything. It was a family affair. We would go with my brother's racing. We would all travel together around Australia. And then when he started going to Asia, we got to go and experience that. So for me, that's where it all started. Then my brother's career took off in early 2000s. He then went to race in the UK and got a wildcard appearance in the World Supersport Championship with Castrol Honda, where back then the superbike rider was an American named Colin Edwards. So I got to go and experience that. And from there, I'm in this world paddock. And, Colin Edwards is throwing me on his shoulders and we're going to do stuff. And I'm riding push bikes or mini moto around circuits in Europe and whatnot. So that was my youth. I was like 7, 8, 9 years old at this stage. Then as my brother's career progressed, obviously it was then World Superbikes and then it was the move to MotoGP. And as that time happened, I was like a teenager, early teenager. Then I'm getting to experience these paddocks. And every time I would go and I would learn, my dad, especially because he was a big influence with my brother's career, would try and explain it to me and teach me. And my love and my passion for the technology and the growth of the bikes, that's where that came from. Like I always say to people, I absolutely love test days or testing because I used to sit there and just watch and listen. And the way that my brother would come in and explain it, and it might be the smallest little change that they've done on the bike. And he's like, oh, it makes such a difference on corner entry or when I'm braking or the bike's moving like this. And I'm like, wow, how such a small thing can make such a big change. So I loved that side of it. But to answer another question of yours, so my actual background is performing arts. Like I loved acting and theater and singing. So
how have we not met before?
Yeah.
I feel like
Are we
everything
all the
you're
same
saying,
person?
literally.
You mentioned Daniel Ricciardo. We're huge Danny Rick girls.
Big McDowan fans.
Also theater girls, also brunette.
Literally, like we are like the best friends. We're just like in the wrong countries. Like I should be over there with you girls. Like,
No, we can come to you. So you mentioned all starting kind of in this performing arts background too.
yeah, so that's my background. That's what I did when I was younger. I had the dream of, I'm going to move to Hollywood and I'll get a job on a sitcom and I will, do that. And coming from a small town in Australia is a lot harder than I thought it was when I was, big starry-eyed when I was younger. But I always had the passion for motorsport, loved it, but focused on that career. So I was trying to do the performing arts, the music, like all that side thing. Then I kind of got to a point in my life where I was like late teenager. I'm like, I probably should start to like actually think about being serious now and not being so starry-eyed and giving up on a dream. But when I say the dream, I feel like it's really taken me here because I worked for a race team, actually here in Australia, in Melbourne, a motocross race team, and I was a team coordinator. And this was right at the time where the TikTok, COVID, F1 content creators kind of started to take off. And I was watching that because I've always loved social media. I've always seen it as like a blank canvas and you can literally paint whatever you want on there. And I thought, you know what? No one's doing it about MotoGP. It's still in its like infancy with all that. Why don't I just jump on and start making some content? So I left my job with the race team to kind of go and do it on a whim, thinking, I can use my performing arts background. So mum and dad, all that money hasn't gone to waste. But I can also use the knowledge and everything that I've known and all my years of experience. So I just started making TikToks and they were, I'm going to say they're terrible. But I was just talking about what I loved. And it grew, my platform grew. I got picked up by an agency in Australia where it was like, hey, we love what you do with that. We want to do that, racing and, motocross, which was the industry I was working in. Let's start building. At the same time, keep doing what you're doing. And I started getting more appearances. I started hosting live events, all within that same industry. And from there, Fox Sports Australia saw what I was doing. And they were like, we love it. We want that for MotoGP. And I was like, yeah, but I want to be on camera. Like I want to be working in the TV. I want to tell the stories more. And they're like, perfect. Let's work together. You do socials for us. Let's train you up in broadcast and we can all work together. And honestly, it's like a dream in me that was there that I thought was the performing arts. I thought was working in TV and sitcom and music is like, no, it's the MotoGP dream for me that I'm utilizing all those skills that I learned, everything that I've built and now working with the broadcaster. And hopefully my dream is to ultimately work in MotoGP in the paddock full time and get to tell the stories and be there and live it. And I'm one step closer. Every event that I do, every time I'm at the racetrack, I'm one step closer. So yeah, that's my background.
So cool.
Literally living the dream.
Thank you. Thank you.
I feel like it's such a nice like tie-in looking back at that background you have in the performing arts and also just that drive and curiosity that you're talking about with like those test days that you remember. How has it been learning, I guess, the ropes in broadcast? Because it sounds like that was a skill that you kind of really wanted to build.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I think what is a point of difference for me is, like you said, it is that like that knowledge and having been there, having experienced it, I know what the riders go through. And now I'm friends with like a lot of the Aussie riders like Son Agius and Joel Kelso. And I get to see it again and witness what they go through. So I understand and I respect that side of it. And then I see the TV side and I see the storytelling aspect and I see how can we relate everything together. Broadcast is like a whole nother world. You have like an earpiece in, you have a producer. So like we're talking now and then there's someone in your ear trying to tell you things at the same time. Like we're cutting to an ad break or so-and-so is coming on or like there's been a change and you're having to think on the fly. And that's where a lot of like the improv and a lot of just like thinking and being on your feet comes in. And don't get me wrong, like I stumble, I mess up as everybody does. And like I said, I'm only at the beginning of my journey, but broadcast is a whole nother world that I understood and I respect. But now I'm like, damn, you see like Jack Appleyard, you see Matt Burt, these guys. Like, so for example, Matt Burt doesn't have a producer in ear. So
really,
they're what they see on the broadcast, they're getting some info. So when you're in a commentary box, right? You have a broadcast screen. So what you see on the world feed, they'll also have data coming in from like the FIM where it's like, you know, who gets a jump start, who's getting a penalty, whatnot. Like basically what Simon Crafar is like relaying. That's their only info. So they're having to literally think on the fly all the time and see what they're seeing, plus their notes that they've taken or who they've spoken to. I got the chance to commentate in Qatar earlier this year and work for the Lusail circuit. And I am not a commentator. But
it seems really hard.
It's such a skill. Like
it's such a skill. Broadcast is one thing. Social media is one thing. And then the commentating, like...
I would just sit there and watch. Because
my eyes don't go that fast.
Yeah. My motto in life, if there's anything is I've learned, is say yes to everything, give everything a go because you just don't know what can come from it. I learned from that instance, look, I'm not a commentator. I love a chat, as we can tell right now, but not a commentator. I take my hat off to Matt and Lewis and Kiko and all those guys because I'm like, wow. But yeah, you're having to see what you're seeing and then talk about it at the same time and relay that information and then go, oh no, but you know, a Fermin gets jump started or someone's got a long lap penalty or whatever the situation may be, and then tell the stories and get everyone hyped up because you want them to sit and be entertained. Wow. Just wow. But it's wild. It's so interesting. Even like if we could have a documentary, show the riders and show what they do. But oh my God, show what like Matt Burt does.
I want an F1 movie, but about all of the production team who commentates on racing. Like I want a newsroom-esque show.
Yeah. When you girls come to a race and like we get you in a media center, it is insane because there's like the press officers there and then all the journalists and everyone's just trying to get all the information that they can from everyone. It's wild. It's literally like a reality TV show and I live for it.
The whole thing is so wildly impressive.
So I know you've said this where you kind of are doing a lot and you're trying a lot of things. What does kind of an average day at a race weekend look like for you?
Yeah, so for sure. So let's talk about this weekend that's coming up for me because this weekend's one of my busiest of the year because I work for Fox Sports Australia, but I'm also working for the Australian Grand Prix Corporation, which are the company who basically put on the event so that the riders can there. So
do they do that for MotoGP and F1 or are they separate?
Correct. Yeah. So they're MotoGP and F1 in Australia. So this weekend. So it's Tuesday right now. So here in Melbourne, we have a Fox Studios. So this afternoon, I'm going in there to record our Pit Talk podcast, which you kindly promoted in the intro. And we'll do a live version of that. So a long form. Then tomorrow morning, bright and early, drive down to the circuit. It's about 2 hours from here. And I'll meet with our producer, who happens to be the head of motorsport at Fox. And I'll go and meet with the team at Dorna, get accreditation. We go and get set up. And then it is like game on. We are starting to prep because Thursday morning, I'm then working for the Australian Grand Prix Corporation. They host an event here called the Homecoming Ride. So Phillip Island is an island, I say in parentheses, there's a small bridge that like you have to cross water to get there. So from the mainland, there's an event that they do that they sell tickets for. So this year we have Casey Stoner, we have Pekka Bagnaia, Marco Bezzecchi, obviously all the Aussies, Joel, Jacob and Senna and Jack. And I believe Digi Antonio, maybe, they're coming. So there's a stage there. So I host that. We chat with the riders, obviously Casey talking about his fantastic wins here, his history. And then there's, his little side bits with Pecco at the moment, trying to help him get to the top.
Yeah.
Then from there, I take my hosting hat off and I put my other hosting hat on, and then I'm actually riding with the guys from the mainland to the circuit. I know, I'm not on the back with them. I'm actually on my own bike filming this
fun.
for the Fox broadcast.
What do you ride?
Where I live at home, I live right near the beach. So I have a scooter, a moped, just so I can park at the beach, get an easy park. It's so simple. But my dad has a Ducati Scrambler and I love it so much. This weekend, I'm lucky that Honda are helping sponsor. So I have a Honda, I think it's a CB500 coming. So a sports bike. And it's cool because I get to wear my brother's replica helmet from when he raced and whatnot. So I feel like it's another part of the Vermeulen family lineage of getting to ride Phillip Island.
It's a really homecoming event.
It is a homecoming event, yeah. So this is literally Thursday morning that we're at, right? Right to the circuit.
Wait,
talk with Casey. This is still Thursday. Then get there, talk with Casey, take off my riding gear, put on my professional clothes, and then I'm straight into back-to-back sit-down interviews for the Fox Sports broadcast. So we were hoping to have Marc Marquez, unfortunately not.
He's a little busy.
He's a little busy. Same with Jorge Martin. It's just rehabbing it
Tied up.
Yeah, just a little bit. So I have back-to-back interviews and that'll take me into Thursday night. Then it's press conference for the weekend. Then it's me just gathering as much information as I can. That's Thursday. Friday, we're straight obviously into the sessions. And then I go back into my social media role where I'm posting the updates and I'm filming content. I'm obviously in front of a camera, getting as much content and video and information as I can out to drive people to tune in. At the same time, jumping on the broadcast with our team and then doing crossovers to our news team back in Sydney. So it is wild. And then working with the AGPC. So then across the weekend, it's a mixture of that. We have the Hero Walk on Saturday and Sunday. We have the fan forum stage that I'm hosting where we'll have Moto3, 2 and GP riders come through. And that in itself is completely different. So when I'm hosting a live event, it's the energy, it's the fun, it's getting the riders to laugh, it's engaging the crowd, it's high energy, it's all that. And then you put a different hat on and you're welcome to Phillip Island, this circuit, blah, blah, blah. You become like a presenter and then you're a bit more finesse, and then social media is somewhere in between, all of it. So it is nonstop and I love it. I live for it. My partner says to me, he's your eyes just light up. As soon as I'm driving into the circuit, I'm yes. This is where I'm meant to be. Let's get this show on the road. And as much as I can, I'm there just watching the bikes and trying to learn and trying to see, okay, what changes are they doing? I'm already thinking, I'm what's Pecco going to be like this weekend? He's come from winning in Japan to terrible in Indonesia. Yeah. Mark's not here this weekend. Is that one less thing, one less mental hurdle he has? Are we going to see a different Pecco? I'm already starting to think of that and prep my questions and just get as ready as I can to drive into the circuit or drive to Fox Footy offices this afternoon at 5:30. So yeah, that's my week. Sunday night, pack up, head home, done.
Sleep for a week.
Yeah,
do it again.
Literally. I'm come from F1, straight from Bathurst, which is Australian car racing, and now to moto. And I go to the 4-wheel events and I say to the guys, look, it's 2 wheels too many for me. I respect what you guys do. I'm here for it. I love F1. I think it's great. Get me to MotoGP. And the whole time I'm have you seen it? You need to come to a race. I'm just trying to invite everyone from those paddocks to MotoGP to get them all to fangirl like us.
It's 2 wheels too many. I'm stealing that, by the way.
Yeah. Except in Zoe's case, her dream car is the Tyrrell
P34
6-wheeled car. So it's 2 wheels too many until you add another set of 2 wheels. Then she's
then
all
I'm
in.
back in.
Yeah. What's so crazy is I say all the time, I'm it's your favorite F1 driver's favorite sport. And that's why you need to be into MotoGP. That's the thing. If you one day meet Lando Norris and you want to talk to him, that guy wants to talk about MotoGP. He wants to talk about Valentino Rossi.
Yes. How cool was it seeing Lando? We've seen Kimi Antonelli. We've seen these F1 drivers now come to MotoGP events. Isn't that phenomenal?
Isaac was at Le Mans, I think, this year.
Yeah.
And he was at Mugello. I saw him because I was at Mugello and I'm on the grid and I'm who's Fabio talking to? I'm oh, that's Isaac.
His buddy.
So
They're
cool.
little buddies. I love him.
We're big fans.
Big fans.
It's so cool. It's so cool to see the crossover happening. And like, I know in the US, the American motocross, because I said the motocross background, it's huge. And it's the same thing as like Jet and Hunter, they're Aussies, obviously, but they're like massive fans of the sport. And then when you see our riders over there for COTA, for the US Grand Prix, it's like they're trying to get to a supercross event. And I love this crossover. I love when that happens. It's like, okay, now my quest is, how do we get the crossover outside of just motorsport to other sports, but also other industries? Like, I'll let you girls in a little secret. You know, have Dancing with the Stars in the US, and there's an Aussie there, Robert Irwin, at the moment.
We're well aware. We're well aware.
Yeah,
we're big fans of his dad and also him.
And the whole Irwin family,
and just the abs. Yeah,
I can't look at him like that because, like, to me, he's like a little baby.
The thing is, we all grew up with him and Bindi being little kids.
Right. Yeah.
So,
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like the zoo from where I live is literally 20 minutes down the road. Like the Irwins are from the same area, basically, where I'm from. So like earlier this year, I was desperately trying to get Robert to come to Phillip Island because he rides a Honda. He rides like a Honda 110. I think that was his dad's. I'm like, there's so much crossover here.
Oh my God.
This is my marketing hat going. But I also think he would just love it. I just believe that.
I think he would too.
Yeah. And then so last year I was trying to get Chris Hemsworth here because it's the same thing. It's like his parents are from Phillip Island. He actually lived there when he was younger. I think obviously it's Chris Hemsworth, but same thing. I feel like he has such a respect for athletes and sports people that I just think he
100%
would love it. And it's just little old me. But I'm going, how can we get these people here? How can we bring more eyes to just one of the most incredible sports? I was talking to the V8 car driver on the weekend and I was like, my background's MotoGP. He's like, how do they do it?
I don't know.
Yeah, literally. He's like, I do not understand how Jorge Martin can be dragging his shoulders and defying gravity, inside a wicked quote, defying gravity
to get Cynthia Erivo there.
Yeah.
I think she would have a blast.
Could you imagine her doing like a well, like, yeah.
She's
like,
so aerodynamic.
I love it. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, like that would just be so cool is if we can start seeing a wider crossover. But for now, Lando Norris has Quadrant. He sponsors Ivan Altola. Like he's doing his part. Like you said, Isaac, we saw Kimi Antonelli. Those guys are getting there. Amazing. Bring all your celebrity friends next time, please. Bring the singers, bring the actors, bring everyone.
Well, it's so cool with Kimi too, is that when he came into F1, I think it was really exciting for that crossover reason of him being a VR46 Academy kid, essentially, is the first one to get into F1. And I think that was like a big moment where I was like, this is where people I think could get really interested in MotoGP because F1 fans are so, I say this being one, very intense and very, very invested in their drivers. And so it's like, yes, go look into Kimi, be excited about him, be excited about where he came from and who he's trained with. There's a whole other ecosystem.
I've been saying this. I need the Nikki Hayden movie because it would be a blockbuster here in the States.
Oh, yeah. We've been talking about this.
Like the day that you make a Nikki Hayden biopic is the day an entire generation of Americans fall in love with MotoGP. He's the Kentucky kid. Like it's everything we need and more.
He could be like the modern Jesse James. I think it could really work. It could really work.
Honestly. So my brother raced against him and I was like younger and I was obviously he was so hot. Like I'm just gonna call it for what it is.
Yes.
No, that's a fact.
We agree. We agree.
But he was also just so nice. Like the fact that me and my sisters were like, oh, like we want to meet Nikki Hayden. He's like, why do you want to meet me? Like your brother actually like races with me. Like why? We're like, but we're big fans. But it was the personality. And I think that's what I loved so much. And I think thinking about it now, it's something I haven't put two and two together was like, he was the Kentucky kid. He, you'd see him, it was the hats. But I remember he went on like TRL in the US, right?
Yes,
like he did go on the mainstream because it was like an actual celebrity.
He was
Yeah.
on People's list of like the 50 hottest men, like People magazine. Like insane for this kid from rural Kentucky who does a pretty solidly European sport, like just an insane trajectory.
If I could come in now, and it would definitely rub some feathers in the fact of like a marketing standpoint, but F1 do it. Why are we not promoting the athletes in that way? Yamaha, I'm guessing you girls follow like Yamaha on Instagram, and admin going through their files, and here's a dump of Fabio Quartararo without his shirt on.
It's very smart. We're both social media professionals, and we were like talking about last week, like, no, people need to take note of how Williams conveniently dropped the Carlos Sainz thirst trap to distract from the disqualifications last week. Like, that is brilliant strategy on social media.
Yeah. I think it's such a fine line, and you never want to tread too far one way and too far the other. I think, and we've spoken about it on Pit Talk. We had Simon Patterson from the race on to talk about liberty. And one of the questions that, we kind of all had a discussion about was, how far has the F1 side of things gone where is it too far where it's not about the cars anymore? Like, there's that famous F1 photographer, I think he's Australian as well.
Oh, Kim?
Yeah. And he was saying his most liked post ever is Lando Norris's new girlfriend.
Well, that's also a bit of an outlier because she is massive in Brazil. Like, she is the Taylor Swift of Brazil, I think.
And also Brazilians are Brazilian.
And
they're crazy.
Massive F1 fans because
in a good
of
way.
Senna. Like,
In a good
way.
way. Yeah.
That makes sense now. Okay.
I don't discount that because I think Lando does have like a huge, huge following in like the younger demographic of F1 fans who are on social.
Yeah.
But like, I could totally see why that is the post.
You can't copy and paste Drive to Survive. You can't, like, there's just, we talked about this quite a bit when the deal first went through, is that we don't know how much of Drive to Survive success is like inherently tied with COVID and Daniel Ricciardo and the personalities and all of that. But there is so much to take note of and learn from and embrace. Like, when I see COTA embrace like friendship bracelets and friendship bracelet trading and like tapping into that like young female fan culture that's like really permeated all of pop culture, that to me is like, we all need to take note of that. We, the royal we, as in like all of Dorna, Liberty, etc. And don't take it so far that you lose the identity and the specialness of the sport, but there are ways to take, adapt, and learn.
I think the thing with Fabio too is like, he's always shirtless. So like,
so true.
That's a brand truth of his. Like, he is always shirtless. He always has his pearls on. That is iconography that he's famous for. I love that. Like, yes, make that part of his brand.
Yeah.
Where's the Benson Boone John Zarco collab?
Exactly.
Yes. Could you imagine? Oh, like there's so much.
The backflip competition.
Yeah. But there's the personalities as well, like Jake Dixon.
Oh my God.
He's such a fun personality. Just, you always see him or Sarah posting about him like vacuuming, hoovering the floors and whatnot. Like, it's so funny. It's so different. How do we get that out there? And I think what you girls do with your podcast, it's amazing. Like, you're contributing in your own way to that. And I think, if I can take any credit for myself, I feel like I'm doing a little bit the same with like
100%.
what I'm doing with the socials. It's like, we just need more people. It doesn't have to be females, men as well. Come on board, come and see like the most amazing sport. As I tell everyone, I mean, it's the best sport on earth. Like
it is.
You love F1? Come watch this. You love soccer? Come watch this. You love, I don't even know, airplanes. Come watch this. Like, it's the best thing that you'll ever see.
They're airplanes on ground. It's how it is.
It's crazy.
Airplanes on ground. Girl, you nailed that. Yes, I love that so much.
I stole it from Gigi Delinia. It's fine.
Yeah. We love Gigi.
We do.
We have another question that's kind of a question that we would like to ask people going forward. If you could sit down with any MotoGP legend or, before the MotoGP, system existed, who are they and what would you ask them?
Oh my God. Wow. There's been so many. There's just been so many legends. I guess the first name that came to my mind was Barry Sheene, like one of like the OGs. If he was here now, we've been talking about social media and stuff, I think the way that he is would be hilarious. He reminds me of like a young Valentino, even when he got like older in his career and whatnot. What would I ask? What do you ask someone like that? I want to go into like such a technical like thing about like what is actually going through your mind when you are riding the bike? What do you feel? What do you feel when you're sitting there and you're waiting? Like you feel the engines of the bike are so high and you're waiting for those lights to change. What is that like to you? How do you explain it? Like what's the closest thing? I don't know if you remember that documentary style thing that came out and it was like Marco Simoncelli. This is obviously a long time ago and he's like the closest thing is like making love. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. But I'm like
And he's not even the first or last person to say that.
no. But I go, how do you describe that feeling in words? Talk to me like what is winning? What is winning like to you? What does winning the championship mean? What is it? It's the first thing you think about all of the sacrifices that you and your family made? Or are you just being like, oh my God, like I've done this. I mean, I would love to live and experience that. But then I'm trying to think of just like something funny that would just be like, what's your favorite drink? Like, what do you order when you go to like the pub? Like
I would sit him down. I would give him a little iPad. He'd be like, what's this? I'd be like, this is an iPad. And show him Sepang 2015 and be like, okay, what's your take? Let's hear.
Yes. Oh my God,
That would be
controversial.
crazy.
I have to tell you, girls. So last year, I was hosting the fan forum stage here at Phillip Island, and we had Jacob Rulstone on. Someone in the crowd was like, "Who's better, Valentino or Marc Marquez?" And Jacob, bless his heart, was like, "Let's go into 2015, shall we?" And just gave like his full verdict on it. And you would see some
I love
people's jaws just like when he said
No,
his
it's
answer.
crazy because nobody talks about it.
Nobody talks about it.
Nobody talks about it. We brought it up on the Pit Talk podcast and it was like, we're going to go into murky waters here, but let's just see where this goes. Look, it's controversial. And it's the fact that we're still talking about it now. Two things that come to mind. A, where is the drama? Why are we still talking about 2015? Why is there not drama now? Is it because of the VR46 Academy? Is it because they are all friends with each other and there isn't so much of like that, like hatred, I guess?
I think about this all the time. Valentino said in the past, and like people who worked with him have said he needed to hate someone before he could really compete against them, before he like could get that drive. And I don't think the guys in the academy have that. Like they love each other.
Haterism needs to come back to sport in a big way. Like we're kind of starting to see it in F1 with like Max and George. Like I want them to be kicking, fighting, screaming. When Fernando and Lewis last week, they have generational beef and is so delicious. It's so delicious. I'm
And
so
Lewis
happy.
is now posting, like he's subtweeting on Instagram stories. Like bring that back.
Bring it back. Bring back hating each other.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know I interrupted.
I hate good vibes. Be mean to each other. This is not America's Next Top Best Friend.
No, and it's not. And I mean, obviously, social media makes it so hard in the fact that there's all like the keyboard warriors who will then have their 2 cents on everything. And I guess back in like, early 2000s, late 90s, there was the drama. But it was like you'd talk about it with your friends or you might read about it in a magazine and kind of that's where it ended. There wasn't like the war of like, oh my God, you're wearing a 93 shirt and I'm wearing a 46 shirt and we can't be seen near each other. Like, there wasn't any of that.
It's what I affectionately refer to as the proxy war.
I love it.
When I was at COTA this year, it was so funny though, because the amount of like girlfriend boyfriends I saw walking around and she was in a 93 shirt and he was in a 46 shirt. Crazy business.
Needs to be studied. Needs to be studied.
Even like I was at Magello and I was on the grid when you heard the booing for Mark and then was it Tadotsi went up and was like with his shirt.
Oh, you
like,
were there.
He isn't. Yeah,
He's red.
Yeah, he's wearing the same color. Then obviously Mark gets on the podium and, the booing and everything there. And Alex got booed. And then Mark said that statement of, have the problem with me. Alex has nothing to do with this. But yeah, I think that there's like there's drama and then the drama expands a little bit like too far now. But at the end of the day, yeah, they're professional athletes and what they do is incredible. But they're also entertainment. And how do we get that fine line of give us the drama, give us what we live for because we like that. I think 2027 will help with the changes
I
to the
agree.
bikes. And I think we'll see more overtaking, there'll be less dirty air, less all this like ride height device, blah, blah, blah. I think we'll see more of the on-track drama that we want and we love and we crave. Give us just a little bit of that more off-track drama. Then we'll have everything. We'll have the OG fans, we'll have that older generation, the guys who ride bikes, the guys who love it because we're having that on track. And then there's the younger generation, I guess, you know, with the friendship bracelets and all that style of thing, because then there's the personalities and then there's that. You can have that. I feel like that's our perfect recipe for the ultimate MotoGP cake. And then we just need that cherry on top and the best sport in the world is available then to everyone.
I feel like, yeah, it's to your point, 2027 is going to be so important. And that's what I think I'm really interested in with Liberty coming in is like, now is the time to invest in building kind of the social awareness of this sport and building like the tools to do that. I think like last year, Dorna didn't have a marketing department and now they do. So it's like, I'm really excited for
Crazy.
what happens next. And yeah, like they're very aware, these athletes, that they're part of a show and part of like a traveling circus, if you will. So you kind of answered my next question, which was where do you think the sport's going to go in the next 5 to 10 years? So that's great.
I'm so sorry. I hate it when like I'm interviewing someone and they do the same thing and then you're like, thanks guys.
No,
And
it
you
just
like
means we're on the
literally
same brainwaves.
Yeah.
Like it makes my job easier.
No, I'm excited for 2027. Everyone I've spoken to, my brother included, Casey, like the old guys, even the new guys, they're like, yeah, we're excited for it. Obviously, next year is going to be, I think, almost like a copy and paste of this year because there's not going to be any real changes apart from possibly the Yamaha with the V4, and we'll see where that goes, right? But
Right.
I think, you know, what would be exciting is if Pecco Bagnaia can come back and we can actually see that challenging for Marc Marquez that we all thought was going to happen this year.
Jorge
Maybe there's
even.
something there where he is back on the GP 24.234s, yeah, whatever model they are on now. And at the same time, and maybe something that's not necessarily been shown as much, but how cool is it that we're witnessing two brothers at the absolute top of their sport? Like, I know I mentioned earlier, Venus and Serena, right? Travis and Jason Kelsey. I can't even think off the top of my
that's
head.
literally.
I mean, wasn't it before Mark and Alex, it was the Aoki brothers, I think?
Yeah. So there was the
But
three
that
of
was
them.
a while ago.
But even like, they weren't necessarily challenging for like
Right.
world championship.
It was just a podium.
Is the podium. Same with like Paul and Alish. Or if you go F1, there's like Ralph and Michael Schumacher. Like there's always been brothers and siblings in sport that we love. But the fact that there was a point there where it was like Alex was challenging Mark for the title.
Right.
But it's going to be Marquez 1-2 in the world championship. We're witnessing greatness once again.
I think maybe it was April. We were having a conversation on the podcast and I was like, wouldn't it be crazy if the entire season, the lead is only held by someone with the last name Marquez? And so it was like, that would be crazy. There's no way that happens. And then it happened.
And then it happened.
That's insane.
Isn't it? Isn't it just? And then, you know, like we thought coming into this year, Pecco Bagnaia was going to be the one to challenge Mark. We thought Jorge Martin, when's he going to win on the Aprilia? There was so many storylines coming into this year that haven't manifested, and we've had something completely different. Like Marco Bezzecchi might get third in the World Championship, and he might just take the role of, or he has taken the role of lead Aprilia rider.
After such a horrible season.
Yeah. That was not on my bingo card for 2025 at all. So there's always been like little, like Zarco winning in Le Mans. That was not on my bingo card for 2025.
We have a running bit.
We always forget Zarco. You can't forget Zarco. I have him on the podium in Phillip Island.
Luca Marini even has been such a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Or that there's like a real rookie of the year battle going on between Furman and like and I mean, not so much anymore. Like Furman's really kind of solidly pulled ahead, but
yeah,
we're big eye girls.
Big eye girls. And the other thing too is like what we may not get on track in 26, I think we're going to get off track in the silly season of all silly seasons.
Yes. Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Have you seen some of the lists floating around on like Reddit of people predicting what 2027 teams are going to look like?
Look, I have, but I feel like for the listeners, you just need to like give us some of these juicy ones.
Please tell me.
Please.
Oh my God. It's like, I think there was something like Jack Miller, like was going to be on like Trackhouse. Someone predicted Senna was going to be like on Factory Aprilia. Like, it's just some stuff where it's like, I don't know where you got this, but I'm really fascinated by the world in which this would happen.
Yes.
Like, I think someone also predicted, and this is like a true VR46 person, I know for a fact, put Celestino Vietti in like Factory KTM. And I was like, no.
I don't want that for him.
Yeah.
I think it speaks to how crazy it's going to be. Like, we just don't know. I feel like it could be really fun to see Pecco and Quartararo on a Factory Yamaha team.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if Pecco's much of like a developer of a bike. And I think he's only going to want to go to a bike that he can ride and potentially win. But if Yamaha keep the team that they have with Pramac and they have the developer, but the whole idea of Pramac is to be able to then bring the Moto2 riders up through so that they can get their taste of it and
Top
whatnot.
Rack.
We can't forget about Top Rack.
That's why Jack's there, right? Because obviously they have Fabio who wants to win. They have Alex, who has always struggled since that crash, but pre-crash Alex was strong. You have Toprak, who's an elder rookie coming in, never raced a MotoGP bike, but dominated in superbikes. He's going to have to really learn it, because the last time he did his test on the Yamaha MotoGP, you know, he said his thoughts on it, and that wasn't necessarily great, but it was his first time jumping on a MotoGP bike. They needed to have Jack there because he's the one who's giving them that information, who's relaying it, who's helping the team.
Who's been on so many other bikes too.
So many other bikes. When I was in Aragon earlier this year, it was right before the sprint. It was literally Jack talking to Miguel and Fabio, and they were like, right, tires, this is what I think we do. And like, he's the one who's like they all work together so much in Yamaha, which is so cool to see. There's no like differentiate between Monster Yamaha and Pramac Yamaha. It is like, you know, we're Yamaha, we're one team, and we're working together as much as we can.
Which is really cool, because I think that is why they wanted a second team. But it's cool that has like trickled down into the way the riders work together.
Yeah. Back to the silly season, I want to ask you girls a question. Do you think Mark is going to go back to Honda at some point, or will he finish his career with Ducati?
My read is very similar to what you said about Pecco. I don't think Mark keeps racing unless he's going to keep winning. I don't think he's in it for that. And he said that, where he's like, you know, I'm only going to race until I'm fast. So I think Honda would have to be very good, essentially. He'd have to come back to a bike that he feels like he can take past whatever Ducati or whoever's on top at the moment can do. Because we know he can pull a bike past where people think it should be. And I think, honestly, the biggest thing for him in some ways has to be he needs a bike that he isn't going to kill him.
Yeah.
Especially from a Honda.
Yeah.
So I feel like it could happen, but it's like a very slim possibility.
I love chaos, and I want him to go crazy, and like, this would never happen. But like, what if he was riding a Ducati in VR46? Like, wouldn't that be insane?
Listen,
that would be incredible.
Look, I feel like you've just started a warfare that I didn't think I was there.
Look, if anyone can pull off piss yellow, it could be him.
The stars will have to align.
Orange is his color, and that's not too far away from that.
I also think he could potentially go where he and Alex can win together. So I could see a world in which like Gresini gets really good maybe, and he goes back to Gresini. I think he enjoyed his time there quite a bit.
That actually reminds me. Do you talk to Nadia ever? She's such an inspiration to me, I think.
She's amazing.
She's so cool.
She doesn't speak English, from what I've heard. Because I asked to do an interview with her because I'm like, Queen Nadia, I live for her and what she's done and everything. And yeah, the press officer said, unfortunately, she just doesn't speak English. So yeah.
You know what? Good for her.
Yeah, you know what? She's a boss, and we love her from the outside. But I would love to pitch to a Italian whoever, just, hey, can you do something with Nadia? But like, we help write questions so we can get the answers that we also want to hear and whatnot. But I think she's just paving the way. And now we're seeing more and more females in motorsport, not just in like the roles that I do and whatnot, but as Honda had the data technician, I believe, and even in Moto2 and Moto3, we're seeing females in like actual mechanical roles, and it's not just the team coordinator. It's not just like those stereotypical
press officers.
Exactly. So
which
yeah,
is amazing career.
which is phenomenal, right?
really
Don't
cool
take
to
that
see
away from
women.
anyone.
Yeah.
I think, like, I had a gentleman say to me the other day, it's like, yeah, women in motorsport, it's not an uncommon thing anymore. It's just, it's there, and there's more and more and more. And then there was that all-female team that I think did a few wild cards. Was it last year or the year before? In Moto2 or Moto3. I can picture it because I remember the bike had pink on it. It was like something to do with like the Spanish government and whatnot. Were like, yeah, let's do something cool here, and the mechanics and everyone was females. And I think it was like Maria Herrera rode for them or whatnot. And it was like a few wild cards. I love it. Like I live for it. I mean, the Women's World Championship, I don't know if you girls follow it, like, isn't that phenomenal? Hopefully, eventually, it's just a category that is alongside superbikes and they do all the rounds, right?
Well, that's the coolest thing about motorsport. Like, aside from being the best racing in the world and just like the best sport in the world, is that you kind of get away from this conversation people love to have about most sports, which is like the gender essentialism of it, where racing is truly just a person in a car or on a bike. Like it is one of those sports that I feel like you just don't need to split. And I'm so excited for the future of that.
Even like a different sport, but I watched the Women's World Cup. I think it was last year, maybe in Australia. So it was on TV. And I don't follow, you guys call it soccer, right? In the US? Yeah, okay. It's so confusing because it's football in one place, it's soccer, And I was watching that and I'm going, these girls are badass. Like, what
and
they
the
are
US
doing.
women's soccer team?
Like, that's the thing about the US women's soccer team is that the men's soccer team,
we don't know them.
Sucks.
We don't know them.
And the women's US soccer team is the best in the world.
And everybody knows who they are. Megan Rapinoe,
Mia Hamm,
they're household names.
like,
So cool.
incredible.
They live for that. And I think it is brilliant. It's the fact that, like, without getting into detail for any like male listeners or whatnot, it's like,
They can suck it up.
we go through a lot in a month. Like, there's a lot that happens to our bodies and everything. And then you think these girls are performing at their absolute top level, A game, out there in the Women's World Championship. They're riding bikes, are they going like 200 plus kilometers an hour? They're, battling it out, whatnot. And men can do it. Fuck yeah, the girls can do it as well.
Truly. And also, just like, I think this was back when Anna Carusco was riding in Moto3 when she had grid guys.
Yes.
Like, that's the equality I want to see in the world.
Yeah.
I love when whoever is riding has fun with the umbrellinas. Like, I think, maybe it was Mino or someone had like their grandmother do it once.
Jacob, and oh my God. So literally his mum texted me this morning, Jacob Rulstone, and she's just texted me again saying, I just want to let you know Jacob's grandma is going to be his umbrella girl again at Phillip Island this weekend.
I love it.
Like,
can't wait.
It.
I cannot wait.
Isn't it so cool? And I'm like, the fact that obviously his grandparents must have meant so much to him and helped him so much in his career. And it's his way of saying, thank you to have
you're part of this.
Your 80, however old grandmother on the world stage and whatnot. It is so sweet.
I love when they have fun in this sport. Like, that's the best part.
Yeah, exactly. And if it comes back to literally everything we've talked about this whole conversation, is if we can keep showing this and showing the personalities, but then also show the fact that what these riders are doing out on track, there's nothing that competes to it. The level, the dedication, the athleticism, the fact that they are just talented beyond words. Combine that with the personalities and the characters. That's our recipe.
It's a winning combo.
It's a recipe for success.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, we have one last question for you. So thank you so much for your time. Like,
yes,
truly, I'll speak for the both of us. We've had so much fun chatting with you.
The best.
Thank you
unbelievably
so
much fun.
Thank you. You guys are the best. I love it. I feel like we've just like made another friendship. And I love that about
motorsport. You're welcome
motorsport.
anytime.
Literally welcome anytime.
Thank you.
So we typically end the episode with a segment we call the Grid As. ...
Yeah. So for the uninitiated, the Grid As ... is a moment in our podcast where we take a handful of riders and drivers from across the great wide world of motorsport and categorize them as a person, place, thing, idea, concept. And in honor of Phillip Island, we are going to do the Grid As Australian wildlife.
I love that.
You guys have a lot of it,
Yeah.
and it's kooky.
Unique.
It's kooky. And that's a word. That's definitely a word to describe the animals here. Yeah, no, we have pretty much like a majority of it is out to kill you. So yeah, love that. Okay.
So we typically split it up. Like I'll handle MotoGP and Zoe will do F1. I feel like we can just throw spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks this time. Zoe, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Yes, I would love to go first. I want to start by saying I do think that Valentino Rossi is a drop bear.
Oh my God. That is the quote. I love it.
Evil on mythical proportions and looks cuddly and cute like a koala.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I think that Marc Marquez is a magpie, but specifically because he'll swoop you.
You've done your research, girl. I love this.
Mhm.
I love this.
I got really deep into this.
Wow.
Okay, well, I was also going to do Mark.
I know, that's why I went first.
Okay, well, I'm still going to do that. I have free will also. Marc Marquez is a platypus.
No, also true.
Small, little bit fucked up in the body, and can kill you.
Yeah.
Has
Yeah.
teeth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I see it. Like when you first said it,
Okay.
I was like, Marc Marquez, same thing. So clearly same page here. But I was going to say a redback spider because small, fast and agile. But yeah, will kill you.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a theme here.
Yeah. There is a theme here. And then like my next one, I'm like, it's going to be so cliche, but Pedro Acosta, he is the shark. And I'm like a great white shark.
Yes.
Like-
naturally.
Like naturally.
I have one more.
Yes. Go ahead, Zoe. Zoe's bonus.
Mine is Marco Bezzecchi is a dingo. And in my notes, I just put parentheses dog because it makes sense.
It does make sense. I see it. I agree. I feel like he's like a...
They're pack animals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Could be a little insensitive, but I had Fernando Alonso dingo. He will
Eat your baby?
eat your baby is what I'm
Right.
getting at here. Yeah.
Oh, actually, I have another bonus. Luca Marini is an emu from the Great Emu War. This is like a thing, right?
I just thought it was because he was tall, but okay.
But also that.
And his
Yeah.
hair is kind of like
Yeah.
spiky.
I feel like we have to say about Jack Miller. Like I have to go.
Oh, yeah.
Aussie,
We do.
Jack Miller. I'm trying to think what Australian animal Jack Miller could be.
He's not a penguin.
No,
No.
he's not. I'm like, do we go classic because he's Australian? In Australia, we like call someone who's like our like real casual, like wears flip flops, goes to the pub, drinks beer. We call them a bogan. So I like when I talk to Jack, it's like, how's it going? Like it's like we say like the Aussie words, right? And I'm like thinking with him, I'm like, do you just go like the OG? Do you go kangaroo?
Kangaroo Jack.
Kangaroo Jack, like you see him in the back of what we
Yes.
call a ute, you guys call a truck.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that classic, like the vision of like in the outback. And where he lives is literally like towards the outback, like on a farm. Like I'm thinking like he's just like the true blue Australian Aussie kangaroo. And I
I
feel like
love
I'm
it.
so cliche there.
If
correct.
it works, it works.
Yeah. We're not here to deny fact.
Well, we do have to decide who. Oh my God, I'm forgetting his name. But F1, he did the great Uber Eats commercial last year.
Oh,
Valtteri.
Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah, like loves Australia. Who is he? Is he koala? Maybe.
I was going to say Kookaburra.
Yeah, I was going to go kookaburra too.
That makes
Yeah.
so much
Floating
more
around
sense.
my head.
So I feel like he's chill, but when he wants to like make an impact, he makes
He
an
can.
impact. Yeah. He is insane. Like obviously the commercials were phenomenal, but the fact that like obviously his partner, she's a cyclist and then he'll come and do like cycling events and whatnot. And he'll do like the Australian, we call them budgie smugglers, the speedos. Yeah. And
Yes.
he's there wearing them on the beach and whatnot. It's like, I live for the two sides of Valtteri. I live for like the serious, like the racer and whatnot. And then I'm all for the character that he's created.
He's such a great choice, I think, too. Like we talk a lot about, we're American. We talk a lot about Americana and how there's so much opportunity for racing to be like part of an American pastime and culture again. Like when they announced him as a Cadillac driver for next year, the photo he posted for his announcement was him, I think, in a budgie smuggler.
Yeah.
On like a wakeboard with an American flag.
Yeah.
It was iconic.
No, he's a full-time character, part-time, like professional race car driver.
Yeah, literally. You know who's really similar to that in MotoGP is Pedro Acosta. Like the fact of like the mullet, and he hangs out with like Aussie Remy Gardner a lot. And then last year at Phillip Island, he had the helmet that had the mullet painted on it, and he came out in like our Brogan, like the worker with like we call it high vis, like the yellow shirt and the work boots. Like he is like I see Valtteri in Pedro Acosta a little bit. He just hasn't shined through as much as I guess what we'd like. But yeah, it's that same vibe of like it's the character. Like for Valtteri, it's like the mo. And I love what Mercedes F1 have done with like the socials and the audio, the what you know about me that comes on and it's like Valtteri. I love it. It's so unique and everyone so enjoys it.
Yeah.
So
that's where those personalities shine. It's so cool. I'm excited for that to be like hopefully the future.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm thinking this weekend, I'm like, oh, I wonder if Pedro's going to do something cool with his helmet again. I wonder if we'll see the characters come out to play a little bit more. Maybe.
I think that's what's cool too about following like new racers is like, we know that like Mark, I'm biased, but has his traditions where he always brings his helmets to like a fun helmet to COTA. He'll go to Aragon. Like those traditions, seeing those grow and new racers, that's what's so fun about kind of following people for a long time.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I got word from Joel and Jacob and Senna that like they got special helmets this weekend or special boots for Australia. So you'll have to keep your eyes out for that. And I love it. I love the fact that it's like, it's their home race and they're going to do something really cool for it. Yeah.
Well, and Moto2's shaping up to be crazy this year.
Oh my God, isn't it just like Diogo Moreira?
Again, I'm biased. I'm a Mark fan. I do follow David Alonso and Maximo for that reason. But like, it's just been crazy. And like, I'm so excited for them all to like grow and keep moving up. It's like the best part about Moto2 and Moto3.
It's so exciting. I'm so excited.
One thing that I say to like new fans, I'm like, look, MotoGP can sometimes be a little bit boring to watch. If you want the action, watch Moto3. Like I'm there reporting on it, like doing my job, and I'm at like the edge of the seat. I'm like, oh my God, is he going to make
it? It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Obviously, they're like young teenagers or early 20s, so like they're there to fight. But the fact that they get their elbows out and the bikes allow them, the slipstream, the passing, and some of the moves, it's like, boys, okay, calm down just a little bit. Like you still got like 15 laps to go here, but it's so entertaining. I live for it. It's so good.
I love when I think it was maybe Mark on someone recently, it was like such a classic block pass, and like MotoGP Twitter was like, this is crazy. You should have gotten a penalty. And then you watch Moto2 and Moto3 and it's like, they did 8 of those in 2 corners.
In one lap.
Yeah.
I know. It's great. But it's so exciting because we're seeing the races and you're like, okay, if everything plays out well in a few years, they're going to be who we're watching in MotoGP. Like Quiles, right? David Alonso, like remember him in Moto3. Next year, I think in Moto2, he's going to be phenomenal. Wait till he gets to MotoGP.
I want a Fernando Alonso, Gabby Bortoleto, but it's Mark Marquez and David Alonso.
Oh,
we might get it.
We might get it too, is the thing.
Could you imagine?
Fingers crossed.
That would be just phenomenal. The veteran and the rookie like together on the same team, racing each other. Well, chef's kiss. Doesn't get any better than that.
Storytelling.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
In.
All right. Well, I think we could stay and talk to you forever, but you have literally the busiest week ahead. So everyone, please go follow Renita on all available socials.
Yeah. Is there anything you specifically want to plug?
Oh my God. Just like if people are interested in what I do, follow me. I'd love that. That'd be so great. So I'm at Renita Vermeulen on like all the socials, or follow Fox Motorsport on the socials. That's where I post everything, and it's not geotagged, so anyone in the world can see what I'm doing. So stay tuned, because like I said, this weekend focusing on our Aussies and Phillip Island, and I'm going to try and show everyone as much of the behind the scenes of what a race weekend and what a flyaway looks like as well for the European fans. So if you're interested and you want to follow me on Fox Motorsports and yeah, Renita Vermeulen on all the socials.
Amazing. And while you're at it, come follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube. We have a great time. And make sure to like, share, rate, engage with, comment on any of the all above engagement. And let's keep chatting soon.
Thank you so much, Renita. It's been great.
Thank you.
Thanks, girls. I can't wait to meet you, hopefully at COTA next year.
Oh my God.
I'm already going, so don't worry about it.
We got to get it locked in.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.